Now we can start with our practical. The first question asked is to calculate the descriptive statistics of our Ford share price. So what you do is, as I've mentioned, these are the different series as you see it in your Excel file. And so to actually go and calculate the descriptive statistics of a specific variable, you go into that variable. Okay, so we've asked to go into the descriptive statistics of our Ford share price. So we go into our Ford series. We go to view. Now this is a bit of a remember the steps type of thing. So you're going to have to come back to this video. You are to a certain extent lucky that we're doing it in video form, because normally I give it as a class and then you just have to write everything down. Now you can go back, come back to the videos, come back to the steps. Okay, but you need to come back to the steps and make sure that you remember this. So you go to view, click on view, go to descriptive statistics, go to stats table, and there you have all the statistics of your Ford share price. You've got your average, you've got your median, maximum, minimum, standard deviation, and your measure of distribution. To get a more detailed description of what all this means, if you do not know yet, as I said, these are statistical stuff that you've likely came across in previous studies, such as in statistics. So you should know what all of them actually indicates. But if you do not know, go through that textbook that I've almost suggested in your on Blackboard. It's free. It'll help you with almost all the stuff that we're gonna do here. So I really suggest that you use that. So you can use that if you're not sure what all this means. Okay, and that is how you calculate the descriptive statistics. It also asks us, so this is your assignment, I'm going to go through that a bit later. Also asks you to where's your seems like I've lost your class practical. There we go. Okay. Also asks you to calculate the descriptive statistics for the Standard & Poor index. So for this you go into your S&P index. Go to view. Once again, descriptive statistics or stats table. And then you've got your descriptive statistics on your S&P. You can interpret it according to your textbook and according to your understanding. Now it asks you, so now we're getting to the real stuff. Use the data to your disposal to plot the Ford share price and to plot the S&P share price. So to do this, you once again, so it asks you to plot the graphs of the individual, first the Ford and then your S&P index. So once again, anything that you want to do with a series itself, you double click on that series. Now the previous thing that you did in this series was to calculate the descriptive statistics, so you need to go back, go to view, spreadsheet, then you're back at where you should be, and now you can go and plot the graph. You can go to, in actual fact you could have done it directly, but anyway, you can go within your series, you go to view, graph, and there's a whole bunch of different graphs that you can draw. Let's just draw a line and symbol, and that will show you how the share price fluctuated across time. Time, T being on your x-axis, and the price on your y-axis. So in this case, it's Ford share price as a function of time. Okay. To do it with the S&P, you double click on the S&P and go to view. You can directly go to graph, but you can first view your spreadsheet if that makes more sense. Then you can go to view, graph, and there you've got your S&P shape, your S&P index over time as well. Okay, so that's fairly easy. You can do a visual analysis on it. You can say in general it's upwards trending or sideways moving or so on and so forth. But remember, we never draw a conclusion just by visually looking at something. So we need to go and do a bit of more research on it. But this is just to give you a hands-on idea of how to, use eViews and to get a feel for eViews. Our fourth question is to draw a XY plot and determine the relationship between the Ford share price and the S&P index. Okay, so here we go back, and now we're moving away from just focusing on a specific series. We are now wanting to determine the relationship or see the relationship between two series. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open it as a group. So you're going to click on the two series that you want to work with. It specifically asks you to determine or draw up the scatter plot between the Ford share price and the S&P index value. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the Ford share price. You're going to click on it. You're going to hold in your shift button, and then you're going to hold in your control button. You're going to click on Ford. You're going to hold in your control button, and you're going to click on the S&P. Okay, just a side note, the one that you click on first will be the one on your y-axis. Okay, so the one that you click on first will be on your y-axis. Now it makes sense that that Ford will depend on the S&P, so typically you want Ford to be on the y-axis. So you'll click on Ford first and then S&P, but in actual fact it really doesn't matter, but just for interest's sake, the one that you want on your y-axis you click on first. And then you right click on one of the two that you've selected and you open it as a group. Remember, you want to plot them together now, so you open it as a group, and there you see now both the series, both for Ford and the S&P. So now you can go and plot both of them on one graph by going to view. This is now within your group, view, graph. You want a scatter plot. So you click on scatter. So to draw up an XY plot, you go to scatter, not the XY line. It seems confusing, but you go to scatter, and there you've got your scatter plot. And I've done it wrong way around. I've clicked on S&P first because you can see the S&P is now on the y-axis. Sorry, I actually got it wrong. You first need to click on your independent variable, and then on your independent variable, and then on Ford. Okay, to get the S&P on the x-axis. So the one that you click on first, sorry for my mistake, the one that you click on first will come on your x-axis, and the one that you click second will come on your y-axis. Open as a group again, so we just swap it around. Okay, so just to recap, the one that you click on first will come on your x-axis, and the one that you click on second will come on your y-axis. Remember, clicking means you click on it, hold control, click on the second one, and there's your XY plot. And so by looking at this, you can see there's upwards trend. Okay, so as the S&P moves up, it seems like our Ford share price moves up as well, but it's fairly scattered, right? It's fairly scattered. It's not tightly knit together, the dots, and so we'll likely have a fairly weak relationship, even though you can observe a positive relationship. Okay, so that is that. Now the fifth one asks us to determine and interpret the correlation coefficient between the Ford and the S&P share price, or the Ford share price and the S&P index. So you remain within your group. Okay, so you remain within your group because you want to work with these two together. You have to click on both, and once again open as a group, have them in a group, and then you go to view, you go to covariance analysis within the group, but then you deselect covariance and you select correlation. Okay, you deselect covariance, select correlation, because you ultimately want to calculate the correlation between the two. You say okay, and there you've got your correlation. The correlation between SMP and SMP is 1, we said that. The correlation between Ford and Ford is 1, but the correlation between S&P and Ford is 0.21578, and you can read it this way around as well. Correlation between Ford and S&P is 0.21571. So it's positive, but it's low, right? It's weak. It's a weak correlation. Go and look at the slides my slides as a indication of how to interpret the R coefficients. So it's a weak correlation. Okay. Now it asks us to consider and interpret the correlation matrix involving all the variables under consideration. So what we'll do now is we'll click on all the variables, okay, because we want them all in a group, and we want to draw a correlation matrix on all of them except dummy, because dummy is a zeros and ones. So we'll get to that in further classes. We click on Ford, GE, which is General Electrics, Microsoft, and this all whilst holding in control, right? Oracle, Resit. No, Resit is your residual, so your Resit is not a series. On S&P, and your US Treasury bill 3-month, that is an US Treasury bill interest rate. So those are the variables that you want to draw a matrix on. So you go to open. Once again, you open them as a group, and now you see you've got all your series in one file, one work file. You can go to view once again, go to descriptive statistics, to your covariance analysis, correlation, deselect covariance, and here's your matrix. Now you've got your matrix, and now you need to go and correspond. It's fairly self-explanatory. If you want to see what the correlation between Ford and Microsoft is, you make almost cross-reference it. So the correlation between Ford and Microsoft is 0.76. The correlation between General Electric and Oracle is minus 0.299. The correlation between General Electric and S&P is 0.609, and so on. And so you can go and interpret all of these variables, okay, and the correlation amongst them. Okay, happy with that? I am going to stop it here so that it doesn't get too long, and I'll do the second part in the next video.